Can I go?
A little bit louder.
Can I go?
Yeah, you can.
Can I go?
Give me some intros. Give me some. Hey, everybody, welcome to Pack Attacks. You know, welcome to. You.
Welcome back to the Pack Attack. You're so funny. From the forums, from Hip Zeppy. Hello, is it a good time to invest in Nintendo stock or in the near future? Not a lot of websites I use rate Nintendo US ADR, so I wanted your opinion. All right, I have a neutral on Nintendo. I have 3 sell ratings, so I know how to put a sell on a stock when I don't like it. I only cover 19 stocks, so Nintendo, I don't think it's a good time to invest in Nintendo. Look, this is a company that had a great deal of success. Stock went from around where it is now, 11,000, 12,000 yen. The ADR trades in dollars, but it hardly ever trades. From 11 or 12,000 yen per share to like 65,000 yen, and then pulled all the way back to 11 or 12,000 yen. Now, the reason it went up was the Wii was phenomenally successful. The DS was phenomenally successful. The reason it pulled back is the 3DS stuttered. It's doing great, but about half as well as the DS. Still great. And the Wii U is a complete disaster and doesn't look like it's going to turn around. So you've got a company that used to make a ton of money selling, let's call it 20 million Wiis a year, probably slightly fewer than that, maybe 18 million on average. And they made a ton of money selling 25 million DSs a year, and all the software that they created and all the royalties they got from other parties on this kind of 20 million Wii, 25 million DS level. Now they're selling, if they're lucky, 3 million or 4 million Wii U's, so their hardware revenues are very small, their hardware royalties are very small, their software sales for that hardware very small. And on the 3DS side, they're selling about half as many 3DSs as they used to sell. So all of that business is cut in half. So you've got a console business that's probably not profitable at all, and a 3DS business is about half as profitable. So best case, Nintendo gets back to about 25% of the profit levels that it generated in the past. That's not investable at the current valuation. I don't think they're going to get it right this cycle. I think the console is broken. It's just the wrong console. They tried something. They thought offering the gamepad, which looks an awful lot like a tablet, but don't call it a tablet or they'll kick your ass. It's a gamepad. Consumers buy it, think it's a tablet. It doesn't do anything except play their games from their hardware. Sure, you can take the tablet into another room, the gamepad, into another room and keep playing the game. You can do that on your 3DS too. I don't get it. I think most consumers don't get it. Your arms get tired holding it up because you have to keep it close to the TV so you can look at both screens. Battery life is challenged. I mean, they got a lot of fixes to do. Third parties not supporting it very well. EA not at all. I just don't see it. I answered an earlier question about Oculus Rift and not a lot of software, so why buy the hardware? The Wii U is just like that. So no, I don't think Nintendo's investable. I think the signal for when you should invest is when Mr. Iwata is no longer president, because I think the guy has not a clue how to fix it. I think he's going to do everything wrong. And I think when they replace him, then evaluate the new guy. To be honest with you, and it's not going to happen, Reggie would be a far better president. I think Reggie is a very consumer-focused, capable executive. Love the guy. They're not going to hire, a Western guy to run Nintendo. It's going to be a Japanese guy. But I think Nintendo just needs different leadership and needs to go back to the drawing board and revisit their console hardware strategy. Their handheld hardware strategy is great. It's just that their market got cut in half by mobile phone games and tablet games, and the lower end of their market, people who don't want to pay for games, disappeared because you can play mobile and tablet games for free, and the more casual end of their market went away. So I think that that's just not coming back. I think that actually might get worse. And on the hardware side, their console is on the console side, their console is not compelling, and I don't think anything they do for it is going to make it compelling. Yes, I know Nintendo apologists, Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart are going to come out, and they will sell an attach rate of 1 unit of each of those games to every piece of hardware. So 6 or 8 million units each, BFT. Not 20 or 25 like they used to sell, because they don't have that many consoles. This is a hard name to pronounce. From the forum, wow. Shia-ont. I don't even know how to say that. Shia-ont. How would you say that name?
Well, I think.
Shount.
Yeah.
Shount. I don't know what it is. Boy, it's a tough one. Okay, it could be like a Polish guy married a French woman and they came up with Shount. Mr. Pachter, what are the implications of Facebook's acquisition of Oculus? I was wondering when somebody would ask that question. Aside from the tech itself, one of the most exciting aspects of Oculus Rift was its developer-friendly platform and potential integration with other devices such as the Omni and Prio VR. Does this acquisition prophesize a more closed platform for developers and consumers? Look, good for the Oculus guys. I think that's an interesting acquisition. I think that the decimal point might have been in the wrong place. Probably 200 million probably makes more sense, and we all wouldn't have been shocked. 2 billion is kind of a lot. The truth is, the Oculus guys were way ahead of the curve on virtual reality game development. They correctly recognized that if you want to play virtual reality games, there better be some games, and so they weren't going to sell devices without games. They're pretty far along getting people to support the device, so that's cool. I would have been real surprised if there were ever more than 5 or 10 games a year produced for it, because it's just hard to do, create games for a small installed base of hardware. So I think they had a chicken and egg problem as a standalone company, because you're not going to buy the hardware unless there's a lot of software, and developers aren't going to make a lot of software unless there's a lot of hardware. So that's just the difficult balance of launching any device. I think Facebook, I will say this, Mark Zuckerberg is a multi-billionaire, and he's a multi-billionaire because he is orders of magnitude smarter than any of the rest of us, including me. So Mark Zuckerberg sees things that the rest of us don't see, and he's right far more often than any of us would ever give him credit for. He sees virtual reality as a platform. There's a fascinating blog, I'm going to challenge Sean Finger and you to come up with this, written by Raph Koster, R-A-P-H, Koster, K-O-S-T-E-R. So Koster's blog, the day of that VR acquisition, saying that Raph, I hope I'm paraphrasing this correctly, doubts the viability of the hardware because he thinks by the time virtual reality becomes a platform, we're all going to have a chip implanted in our brains and we'll be able to just go into VR state, by closing our eyes, which I actually think sounds reasonable. So I'm not going to question that Zuckerberg sees something that's going to evolve and is going to be a platform for lots of different applications. And I actually don't question that virtual reality makes sense for teaching, so driving simulation, that makes total sense, or doing homework. I mean, why not have access to everything? I mean, it's essentially Google Glass, but kind of immersive. But the truth is, I think Facebook has penis envy. I think Facebook sees Google with Google Glass and says, we need a device too. So they rushed out and bought Oculus Rift. I think the Oculus Rift guys were willing sellers because, as I said, the decimal point was in the wrong place, and the price was literally probably 10 times more than anybody thought that Oculus Rift was worth. I think Facebook grossly overpaid. I think that it will be years before they see any commercial applications that generate any meaningful revenue. I think the good thing is that Facebook has a giant cash hoard, less so after the WhatsApp acquisition and the Oculus Rift acquisition, but they have several $billion dollars and they make several $1 billion a year. So if they want to pump billions of dollars into game development and guaranteeing developers that they will get paid if they make a game, even if there's only 100,000 Oculus Rift headsets out there, then it'll happen. So it's better for the community because you're going to have more software, and that solves the chicken and egg problem. I don't know if that's their plan. I mean, go read Mark Zuckerberg's blog the day of the acquisition. It's one page, so it won't take you too long. And he said, we're buying Oculus VR because they are the leaders in virtual reality gaming. Well, yeah, virtual reality gaming doesn't exist. So they're the leaders in a market that doesn't exist. Yeah, how hard is that? I'm the leader in saying I don't know anything about web-based, Firefox, browser-based plugin shit. Yeah, it's easy to say that. Who cares? It's a community of one. There's only one company trying to do it, and that's them. I think it was a bad acquisition. I think it's going to be a costly acquisition. I think Facebook's going to lose a lot of money, and I think it's going to be 5 years at least before we see anything meaningful out of that. In the meantime, The Oculus VR guys are good dudes. I admire their spirit. I think they were pushing a big boulder uphill, and Facebook just came along and pushed it all the way up the hill for them. They got to the top of the hill. They're billionaires. Never look at a billionaire and say he's a loser. These guys are freaking huge winners. Nice guys. It's great when great things happen to nice people. So happy for them, and I think gamers ultimately probably win because Facebook's got more money than Oculus VR did. So we'll see. All right, fellow babies, thanks for joining us on this week's Pack Attack. If you have any questions, please direct them to the link below. And if you have a question for Twitter, you can submit them directly to me at Michael Pachter on Twitter and include the hashtag AskPack. Thanks for joining us. So,
Sorry, time out? What's wrong?
You're looking off to the left. What do you want to say?
what happened?
He's great off to the left.
Okay. All right, fellow babies and my stoned granddaddy over there. Thank you for joining us on this week's Pack Attack. Apparently, this is turning back into a fellow baby fest.